addressing Congress and the nation. President Donald Trump just wrapped up his first State of the Union address of his second term moments ago.
Yeah, 108 minutes long here. The president touted what he considers successes over the last year, from the economy to gas prices and crackdown on immigration. Many notable people were in the crowd tonight, including members of Team USA's men's hockey team.
But it's also notable who was not in the crowd. Dozens of Democrats skipped the address, choosing to boycott the speech or attend a counter program on the National Mall. 10 Tampa Bay News reporter Miguel Octavio has been following the address all night and joins us now.
Yeah, and Miguel, several of the president's comments could directly impact everyday Floridians.
Well, off the bat, President Trump started his speech centered on the economy, blaming Democrats on affordability and the high cost of health care. He touted his one big beautiful bill, tax cuts and the sweeping tariffs now replaced days after the Supreme Court struck them down.
And as time goes by, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern-day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love.
But some economists raise concerns about tariffs on imports raising prices, saying consumers are paying the cost. Local business owners have had to adjust. At Chocolate Factory in St. Pete, the owner says weather impact on cacao combined with tariffs led to a 47% spike in costs. Fine-tuning their plan did help with a record in sales, but not without challenges like reduced staff, cuts in some products, and reworking sales strategy.
It has been challenging. We did raise our prices, not by 47%, but we did raise the prices. You know, instead of being all over the place, kind of had to fine-tune and have a little more of a game plan and just focus on what's important to make sure the sales are there so we can continue to operate.
Now, President Trump also touted the millions of barrels of oil gained after the capture of Venezuela's former president. He also weighed heavy on immigration, calling for an end to sanctuary cities, declaring a war on fraud, and calls to fund the Department of Homeland Security.
One of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
And one of the top issues Floridians face today is the cost of health care. Our state leads the nation in Affordable Care Act enrollment. President Trump touted his health care proposal, calling on money to go directly to people rather than big insurance companies. Now, much of his speech also focused on crime, election security, and talks with Iran. In studio, Miguel Octavio, 10 Tampa Bay News.
All right, Miguel, just minutes after the president wrapped up his speech, Virginia's newly elected governor, Abigail Spanberger, delivered the Democratic response. Spanberger is the first woman to serve as governor in the state and has been a vocal critic of the president and his administration. Tonight, she took aim directly at the president.
In his speech tonight, the president did what he always does. He lied, he scapegoated, and he distracted. And he offered no real solutions to our nation's pressing challenges, so many of which he is actively making worse. He tries to divide us. He tries to enrage us, to pit us against one another, neighbor against neighbor. And sometimes he succeeds. And so you have to ask, who benefits from his rhetoric, his policies, his actions, the short list of laws he's pushed through this Republican Congress? Somebody must be benefiting. He's enriching himself, his family, his friends. The scale of the corruption is unprecedented.
Spanberger was not the only response. Democratic California Senator Alex Padilla delivered the Spanish language rebuttal.